Hey, what's going on, guys? So it's only a few weeks out from archery opening here in South Carolina. So I've got the day off, so I decided to come out here and do some scouting here in a public WMA, not too far from where I live. I've hunted here over the last 2 seasons, and it's kind of one of my favorite WMAs to hunt. It's raining, it's overcast, gotta bust out the rain gear, but I'm gonna try to make it to my cameras before it gets too bad. But I figured I'd take this opportunity to talk about some transition areas and why they're important to hunt. So I'm gonna try to film this on the move because the weather's getting bad, but let's get in the video. Thanks. So transition areas are really important, especially for archery hunters. The WMA that I'm currently located on is a few hundred acres, centrally located right in the middle of open ag fields. To the south, we have soybean fields. Up on the north border is almost entirely cornfields, and the whitetail love to feed on those, typically during their major feeding times, which can vary. One thing that is hard for this WMA is it's heavily pressured, and it's not by just public hunters. It's here in the south, a widely and very long tradition is running dogs. Here in the upstate, it's actually against the law to run big game with dogs. However, they've been doing it for so long, and a few years back the state bought this piece of land, and it is located between 2 major dog hunting clubs. So the last 2 seasons that I've hunted here, they have been running the dogs on the WMA. What they do is they release the pack of dogs over the border, and as long as the owner don't cross over, there's nothing that the state can do, because you can't give a dog a trespassing ticket. A dog can't read trespassing signs, that's what they always say. So they listen to the dogs and they rove the border with walkie-talkies, and they shoot the deer as they cross. And it's a huge issue, and I'm not against running dogs at all. I believe that hunters should be able to hunt however they choose. However, when you're doing it on a public WMA and the owner's unable to cross over the boundaries to control their dogs, what you do is you have dogs just running amok. And you have hunters like myself who spent a lot of hours out here scouting, trying to pattern these deers just to have dogs run through the area, or have dogs loiter underneath their stand for hours at a time. So it's definitely frustrating, especially for archery hunters, right? Because if you have a rifle, there's a good chance that a dog could run a big buck your way. You could get a shot. But if you're an archery hunter and you've got dogs around, you might as well climb down the tree and just call it a day. But it definitely ruins, or definitely affects, the daily movement patterns of the deer here on this public WMA. So it can get frustrating at times trying to pattern them. What makes this WMA really good is the habitat diversity. So it holds a lot of deer, and that's because you have a makeup of marsh, timber, you have open areas, you have floods, you have, patches of oaks, you have all types of cover and food for them. So what this WMA typically is, in my opinion, is it's a transition area for them to bed, right? So they're bedding here and they're transitioning across the boundaries to these open food plots, agricultural fields to feed, and then they're returning here to the WMA for cover. And that's really what I've seen. So there's so many different types of transition areas all over. In this WMA, it's only a couple hundred acres, but it's made up of a lot of fire breaks that parallel it and run throughout. So what I like to do is I like to walk the border, and then I will look for sign crossing over. So I'll look for, you know, a lot of different tracks in one area going both ways, and that's a telltale sign. And then here in South Carolina, they allow us to set up trail cams during the season. So I'll set up a trail cam in that area, and I'll just see what's moving, and I'll try to pattern them that way. And I've had a lot of success. I'm walking in one of my favorite spots here. It's pretty far in, where I've shot actually my personal best whitetail on Thanksgiving morning last season. So once I get there, I'll show that to y'all. Alright, I'm down here on the southern boundary of the WMA. Right across the boundary, you've got large cornfields. This is one of my favorite spots to hunt, and I see a lot of activity here. I was hoping to show you, but the fire break on the boundary is super flooded, so you can't really see tracks. So the last time I was out here, I took a few pictures, so I'll throw those up here now. And that's really what I look for. I'm looking for not random tracks, but I'm looking for a lot of tracks in the same area, going both ways. So going to and then coming back. And it's a good kind of telltale sign that they may be leaving a bedding area and that it's highly trafficked. So usually I'll just set up a trail cam and then see what's in the area. So I'll throw up a picture of the buck that I got here last season, actually on Thanksgiving Day, and he was the biggest buck that I've ever shot. He was a super nice one. So actually walking up here, I pushed a doe, so they're definitely up here moving. So it's a lot cooler out than it has been, and then the rain, so it's got them out here moving. But I actually came across a old dead, probably a doe or a young fawn. There's a lot of we have a lot of coyotes here, and they're a big issue. So let's see if you can see it. So this is unfortunately pretty common to see here. There's just so many coyotes here. Last year I shot 2 actually in this one spot, and at least once a week walking to and from my tree stand, I would run into one of these exact same sites. So, but I actually have a camera over here, so I'm going to quickly go in there and just adjust the angle and then come right back out. Alright, this is one of my cameras. I've gotten a lot of doe and fawns so far, so I'm just going to adjust the angle of it, see what else is out here moving, possibly going around my camera. But these trail cams, this is actually a Tacticam Reveal X, and it's about $130, but it's a cellular camera, which is amazing. You don't have to come out here switching up SD cards to see the pictures, and you know, leaving your scent all over the place. It's actually pretty cool also to get daily pictures throughout the day and kind of see what's out there moving. Get you kind of excited, especially as deer season is approaching. Alright guys, this is almost a textbook example of a good transition zone. Here I'm on the northern boundary road of the WMA, which I walk to daily in and out of the area that I hunt. And here on the border, you guys can see it, you have a huge cornfield. So a lot of times they will like to enter and exit from the corner of the field. So I know, because I'm pretty familiar with this area, that the other corner is fairly open. So this is where I would start to look for signs that they're transitioning here or near this area. Let me take you over where you can see this field a lot closer. When I'm walking out, a lot of times in the evening, especially once they mow this cornfield, I see tons and tons of deer just hanging out in the middle of it. So they're definitely transitioning from this area over there to feed, sometimes in the morning, but usually I'll see them there towards the evening time. Deer are definitely moving this afternoon. I've pushed so many of them. It's pretty cool to see. Luckily, we're still a few weeks out from the season. But again, I'm on the border of the WMA. This road is the northern border, and you can see just over these trees the cornfield. All right, still got a little ways to go until I get to my truck, but I think that's about it for this video. My battery's almost dead, but it's been a nice afternoon out here scouting. The rain let up, which is super nice, but the mosquitoes are starting to come out, which kind of sucks. I think the mosquito is definitely the South Carolina state bird, but I'm excited for dove to open up next weekend, and then archery is right around the corner. So I plan on filming this season and putting up new videos as I go. So being military, been here a couple years, so it's probably going to be my last season hunting here in South Carolina. But if you like the videos, please subscribe. If you have any pointers or tips, questions, leave a comment. If you're local to South Carolina, here in Game Zone 4, and you're looking for places to hunt in public, leave a comment or send me an email. My email will be in the description. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.
I'm the landscape you need to see. You're the honest I'll ever be. I'm so sorry I never stayed. Overreact and just walk away. Take me back to the place I know.